Hello, and thank you for joining us, everyone. We begin with breaking news just coming into our studio. Emergency crews in Beeville are on the scene of a fatal accident on Highway 181 between Beeville and Pettis. Now, details are still limited at this time, but the highway is closed, and we'll have more information as it becomes available. Well, protests continue across the nation today and tonight as people march for justice for George Floyd, who died in Minneapolis police custody earlier this week. Our Susan McGinnis has the latest.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
Protests continue today in dozens of cities nationwide as they gear up for another night of potential violence and mayhem.
Let's be very clear. The situation in Minneapolis is no longer in any way about the murder of George Floyd.
Minnesota's governor ordering 1,000 more National Guard troops to Minneapolis, saying those who are causing the destruction are not local citizens there to fight for justice, but to disrupt society and instill fear.
There are white supremacists. There are anarchists. There are people who are burning down the institutions that are core to our identity.
In Minneapolis, citizens took to the streets during the day to help clean up the night's destruction, while nationwide the outrage over George Floyd shows no sign of calming. Demonstrators demanding more action after the arrest of former officer Derek Chauvin, who kneeled on Floyd's neck. He died after pleading that he couldn't breathe. They demand the 3 other officers at the scene of Floyd's death be arrested as well. President Trump trying to reassure African Americans and offering to deploy active duty soldiers to Minnesota.
They love black people. MAGA loves black people. It's a lot of radical left bad people, and they've got to be taught that you can't do this.
As cities around the nation issue dusk to dawn curfews, Minnesota asks protesters to stay home to let them restore order. A plea for calm as Americans who still want to be heard wonder where is the justice for George Floyd. In Washington, Susan McGinnis, NBC News.
Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
And here at home, folks also took to the street in downtown Corpus Christi today to peacefully protest over Floyd's death. Protesters say that this is a national issue, but it also needs to be addressed locally.
There's not a good understanding that even though you saw one video of one person dying, there are people in your own neighborhood that have been affected.
All police aren't bad. My dad is a retired police chief. I know that there are good cops out there. The problem is the good cops are silent, and we have an issue with that.
The Corpus Christi Police Department took to social media today, posting its response to Floyd's death and a recent protests. Now, to read their full statement, visit our website at christv.com. And now to the latest COVID-19 cases in the Coastal Bend. The Nueces County Health Department reports 6 new cases, bringing the total now to 274. Now, out of those cases, 148 people have recovered. No other counties are reporting any new cases at this hour. Governor Greg Abbott is now allowing water parks across Texas to reopen, but under strict guidelines to continue to curb the spread of the coronavirus. Hurricane Alley will be testing the waters as it opens its doors since the state restrictions were lifted. Chris 6 News reporter Roland Rodriguez has more.
For the past 2 months, the water park has been really busy getting everything ready for opening day. Sam Canavati, the Chief Operation Officer of Hurricane Alley, tells us he is eager to finally open his water park.
We're really excited about opening up Hurricane Alley. We've been waiting for the governor to give us the okay, and now we have the okay, and we're glad to be open.
On Tuesday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott gave the water parks the green light to open at 25% capacity.
So the way we're going to keep track of our 25% is we have a turnstile, like you see at most theme parks, that tracks them. We also are going to hand track. We have these tracking clickers. We have several of those that we have at the front gate, so we're going to monitor everybody that comes in.
Hurricane Alley visitors will be able to spread out throughout the park. There will also be signage to help people maintain social distance.
We're doing 6-foot spacing in the line before you get into the water park. We're doing the 6-foot spacing near our restaurant. We're doing 6-foot spacing up and down all of the rides that we have and all the slides. We also have installed plastic coverings at all of our contact points, which would be at the registers, at the cash stations, at the lifeguard areas. So we've installed everything throughout our facility.
Let me also mention, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, there is no evidence that coronavirus can be spread to people through water in a pool, hot tub, spa, or even a water park. Roland Rodriguez, Chris, 6 News.
And my cameraman Fernando is telling me that's a great place to hang out, and the weather played into it today. Also, meteorologist Tom Harris is joining us now with, it turned out to be a gorgeous day, but you say some wet weather may be coming in our way?
And absolutely, and some people did see some wet weather today. Not a whole lot right here in Corpus Christi. Would have been a good day to be out at that water park, and nice to see some of those tourist attractions opening. Looking at 76 degrees right now in Robstown, 80 in Rockport and in Port A. We can see the shower activity dwindling, but still a little bit right up along I-37. You can see the Tilden area seeing some of that wet weather just north of George West, moving up into the Campbellton area. But we've got a lot of moisture coming in behind it. More widespread rain for Sunday, and it looks like it'll last for a couple of days. Your full forecast is coming up in just a bit.
Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has put a strain on how many get their food. Coming up, we'll show you how one local program is helping. Stay with us.
Getting through this with stories to help you get back on track. This is the Rebound Coastal Bend.
Welcome back, everyone. The COVID-19 pandemic has put a strain on how many get their food. Chris 6 is committed to helping you find ways to make it through this difficult time. Our Chelsea Torres shows us how the Farm to Family Food Box program is helping everyone from the farmers to the consumers.
Farmers across America are taking the produce that they're growing and boxing them up for families in need. It's a program that's funded by the USDA. Now families that are struggling during the pandemic can eat healthy foods, and it's all for free. Vegetables and fruits from local farmers are making its way to you.
Because we're in this pandemic, it's brought to the forefront as far as, where's my food? When you see the shelves that are empty, it gets your attention.
Local farmer Ross Ibarra, since the pandemic began, more people have reached out about receiving fresh produce.
A lot of people didn't want to go to the big stores to stand in line and get exposed.
Because of coronavirus, farmers were building up a surplus of produce since distributors couldn't move product.
Took a major hit to the amount of product that we were moving, being that all the restaurants closed down and we sell to a lot of them, the schools as well.
Then came the job losses. Over 14% of the population filed for unemployment, meaning people need food, but they don't have the money to pay for it. To help both the farmers and people in need, the USDA began the Farmers to Families Food Box program. CC Produce is the only approved contractor in our area for this program.
You had to follow certain requirements, using only domestic product, using as many local farmers as you can, and then you had to link up with a nonprofit.
CC Produce has currently distributed 2,500 of these boxes to the Coastal Bend Food Bank. These are a few of the different items you can see in their boxes. Things like pinto beans, apples, oranges, potatoes, and even onions. A different type of assortment of produce for any family in need right now. Another nonprofit that is receiving Farmers to Families food boxes is Solid Rock Church. Their first distribution was last week, and they went through over 500 boxes in less than 2 hours.
A lot of people right now that are in need, that need food. We've always loved to feed the hungry. We do that here, but it also benefits the farmers, who are a big, important part of our society and culture.
The Farmers to Families Food Box program continues until June 30th under the CARES Act. For the Rebound Coastal Bend, I'm Chelsea Torres.
And here's the Rebound rundown. The USDA is partnering with local suppliers whose workforce has been significantly impacted by closures. They are purchasing fresh produce from local farmers and then distributing it to suppliers. The suppliers then package the products into family-sized boxes and give them to food banks and faith-based organizations. The Coastal Bend Food Bank and the Solid Rock Church are taking part in the program. Both organizations are holding food drives to give away the items to those in need. To find out more, go to christv.com/rebound. And if you've got a story idea or a question, just email us at rebound@christv.com. Meanwhile, some members of the Corpus Christi Worship Center on Kimbrough spent the day giving out free produce to anyone who stopped by. It was thanks to a partnership with the Casa de Dios on Ayer Street. Church members say it's always good to give back, but especially during these tough times.
We know that we're all in a need. You know, things are the way things are happening right now, and we were given an opportunity. We received some blessings, and the Bible tells us to freely we receive, freely we must give. So we just want to share the blessing with everybody else.
The Corpus Christi Worship Center is known for helping out the community. They hope to have more produce giveaways in the near future. Just head to our Chris 6 website to keep up with their events and more. Well, still ahead on your news at 10.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon.
History unfolded today as American astronauts lifted off for space, beginning a new era in the U.S. space program. We'll take you there next.
This is Chris 6 News at 10.
Welcome back. Well, it was one for the history books. For the first time in almost 9 years, American astronauts are heading to space on an American-made rocket. NBC's Jay Gray takes us to liftoff.
SpaceX Dragon, we're go for launch. Let's light this candle.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA, go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
As the SpaceX Falcon 9 tears away from Pad 39A.
And so rises a new era of American spaceflight, and with it the ambitions of a new generation continuing the dream.
The U.S. space program begins a new era in space exploration. President Trump and Vice President Pence watching just a few miles from the launch site.
I'm so proud of the people at NASA, all the people that work together, public and private. And when you see a site like that, it's incredible.
This is the first manned American-made spacecraft to lift off from U.S. soil in almost 9 years.
It is absolutely our honor to be part of this huge effort to get the United States back in the launch business.
A business that is looking up.
It was incredible. Appreciate all the hard work, and thanks for the great ride to space.
Jay Gray, NBC News, Kennedy Space Center.
Now, your Chris 6 weather forecast with meteorologist Tom Harris.
It does look like we are going to see an increase in clouds and an increase in showers as we head into the end to the weekend. You can see the clouds and rain in the Kingsville area where they picked up to an inch of rain. Some areas even a little bit more than that. Right now we're at 78 degrees at the Corpus Christi International Airport under cloudy skies. Winds are out of the east, 7 miles per hour. Daytime high today, 88. A low this morning of 72 degrees. Pretty close to where we should be for this time of year. 80 in Rockport, 75 in Beeville. Alice is coming in at 74 degrees. Now we have mostly light winds coming in out of the east, and you can see the showers dwindling. Just a couple little areas left where we're seeing some pretty heavy rain, and that's over in between the Three Rivers area and Tilden. We'll kind of zoom on in. Some heavy rain occurring right there, but you can see this afternoon, pretty impressive. Some areas near Kingsville picked up about 1.5 inches of rain. Then as we go up the road, a little bit up into Sandia, Mathis, Orange Grove, some of these areas also picked up about 1 inch of rain. Now what we're watching is an increase in moisture the next couple of days, and that means our temperatures will be a little bit cooler and we'll see a bit more wet weather Sunday, Monday, could linger through Tuesday. Future Tracker does indicate that we are going to see some pretty good showers on Sunday. Then as we head into Monday, much the same. Tuesday might start to taper off at least a little bit. But as far as the rainfall, heaviest is going to be right along the coast. Could pick up 1 to 3 inches of rain tomorrow. And then as we head through Tuesday, some of these areas 2 to 4 to possibly 5 inches of rain. 86 is the current temperature in El Paso, 74 in Amarillo. Houston is coming in at 79 degrees. We are seeing the showers across parts of the Four Corners and some pretty unusual weather along eastern Washington. They don't normally get those big severe storms, but they are under the gun tonight with some areas picking up some very large hail and gusty winds. Do want to take a look at what's going to be happening with the tropics as we are getting very, very close to hurricane season. Now late next week we could see some possible development. Don't want to get too concerned about it, but this is going to bring some very heavy rain. We have a tropical depression that's going to bring all that wet weather, possible flooding across the Central America area, and then we could see a low start to develop in the Bay of Campeche, but again that'll be late next week and we'll just keep an eye on that. Here's a look at our forecast for tonight. Mostly cloudy, showers possible. We'll see an overnight low 73 degrees. Tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms, a high of 83 degrees. 7-day forecast, the wet weather sticks with us Monday, Tuesday, temperatures in the mid-80s. Then it looks like just a few isolated showers and a gradual warm-up as we move closer to next weekend. Paulo?
All right, Tom, thank you for that. As we all try to navigate through this pandemic, many kids may be feeling a little lonely. Coming up, we'll show you how one local boutique is bringing some smiles to their faces while educating them about the pandemic. Stay with us. Welcome back to your News at 10. The ongoing health crisis has affected many people across the world of all ages. Many children may find it hard to understand exactly what's going on. A children's boutique is trying to change that and has decided to educate the kiddos about the coronavirus crisis, but in a creative way. Jeremiah Marshall shows us how.
We want to bring awareness during this time to our children, especially to get more knowledge of what's going on.
Small business owner Karina Ryan says words like pandemic, quarantine, health crisis, to even phrases like PPE might be a little confusing for young children to understand. However, some kids are learning more about the world they're living in with a stuffed buddy. Staff with Goo Goo Bougie Children's Boutique allow kiddos to create their very own quarantine buddy.
I mean, this is a worldwide issue. This is a pandemic that everyone's going through, and especially here in our community, we want to get our kids to know that this is severe.
A lot of them don't know what's going on. They don't understand that at that age is where it starts, and that's where they can have an impact for, you know, the future generations.
Mother of three, Janine Corbett, stopped by and feels children should know the importance of staying home, but also not to be afraid.
The importance of these teddy bears is basically just to show children that, hey, you know, you have comfort, you have something to remind you of this time, and that it's almost a bittersweet situation for all of us.
While staying healthy, safe, and optimistic.
Just get through this period of time, you know, one day at a time, all of us together.
Jeremiah Marshall, Chris, 6 News.
Well, summer is right around the corner, and the YWCA is excited to host their YW Teen Summer Camp. It will be a little different this year. The program is still open to all girls who are leaving 5th and 6th grades, but each girl can only attend 1 week during the summer. The program begins on June 6th. The YWCA is offering to go virtual for some.
We understand that parents are a little concerned about maybe sending their children to an in-person camp. So for those parents, for those students, we do have our virtual camp.
Well, there you go. They got you covered. Registration is now open. For more information, just visit our website at christv.com. After the break, Tom will join us for a final look at the forecast. Keep it right here.
And welcome back. We are looking for some pretty wet weather for the end to the weekend. Now the clouds and wet weather likely to keep our temperatures down just a bit. Only looking for a high temperature tomorrow of 83 degrees. Showers likely through at least Tuesday.
All right, that does it for your news at 10. Thank you for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Have a good one.